so we're going to be finishing up 1-1 today. Okay, we're going to go over how to do basically number 12 and 13. Those are the most difficult problems. But if you were not able to solve number 11, I want to make sure you guys are aware of how to do that. Okay, on number 11, it was asking for how many degrees Fahrenheit would it be? All right. So basically, what is that going to be? If and only if we have negative 40 degrees Celsius. So what you could have done to figure out the Fahrenheit, all right, you have graphing calculators accessible to you, all right, is you could take 9/5, you would open up the parentheses, and for Celsius, you would plug in that negative 40, and then you'd add 32. Relatively simple problem. You could use a calculator. Whatever answer you get, make sure you put it in degrees Fahrenheit. You should find it quite interesting. It's the only temperature where the Fahrenheit and the Celsius match, but I'm not going to play with the answers. All right. Now, a little bit more difficult problem is problem number 12. All right? So, who here feels like they are an excellent reader? Raise your hand. All right. So, we have a formula here. All right? The formula, H equals 120t minus 16t squared, gives the height h in feet. So here's what I want you to do on your paper. Write down h equals height in feet. Always write down what the letters mean in a word problem. Okay? Of an object, t seconds. So what is t equal to? Time, seconds, right? So put t equals time, more specifically in seconds. Okay? After it is shot upward from the Earth's surface with an initial velocity of 120 feet per second. We don't want to get in the way of that. It's going 120 feet every second. That might hurt. Probably go through it. All right. How many seconds will it take to reach its maximum height? So here's what I want you to do on your paper. I'd like you to draw the ground on your paper. Let's pretend it's like it's level, even though I know most ground isn't perfectly level. Let's draw it. Okay. Make it nice and full. Okay? Now, let's pretend that we're shooting something from the surface of the Earth, right here, and you shot it upward. Then it's going to reach its maximum height then. Eventually, once again, hit the Earth. Okay? Right here, at its maximum height, put a little point, and call that its max for short. Does anybody look at that and go, that kind of looks like something I've learned before? A parabola, you're right. So we have like a parabola that goes up to its maximum. Would you agree that maximum height would have an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate associated with it? Yeah? Okay? So it says, how many seconds will it take to reach its maximum height? But also, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to make this right here is going to represent, what do you think up and down is going to represent in the problem?
Height.
Height, good. Oh, that's kind of slightly off. Hold on. That's a little better. All right. So right here, why don't you guys label this? This kind of represents how high up it gets, right? Call it height. So if that's the height, what does the everything going along the bottom represent? What do you think? Time. Time. So this is the time. Okay? So which axis is dealing with time? The x-axis. So time is x, and it looks like the height would have to be the y value. So if we could figure out some way to figure out what this x value is right here at its maximum height, that right there, that would be the answer. We got to figure out how long does it take for it to get up to its maximum height. Okay. Now, oh man, our equation. It's not in terms of x and y. I wonder if we could change it in terms of x and y where we could use the graphing calculator. Anybody want to guess of what that new equation is going to be? What does h represent? H represents our what value? 1. So put y equals 120, but instead of t, what are we going to put in the place of t? X minus 16x squared. So what I'd like everybody to do right now, after you write that down, take that equation, go to your graphing calculator, hit y equals, all right, we'll type this in together, all right? So after you type in y equals, type in 1, 2, 0. Here's your x button right here, x minus 16 x, and then see where it says x squared on your calculator right there? See that? Hit x squared and it squares it for you. All right? Now hit the graph button. Kind of hard to see. It'd be nice if it looked like this right here, right? But we look at our graph and it's like, it looks like it goes somewhere way up here, but we don't know where it reaches. Okay? Huh. We're going to have to change some parameters here. That's too big. Let's look at our table. Check your table. Second graph, go to the table. Second graph, go to the table. All right? Now, what is it? Remember, x represents what? X represents your time. The y represents your height. Okay? So what looks like the highest that it gets according to our table? How high does it get according to our table? How about this? At 0 seconds, it doesn't go anywhere, right? After 1 second, how high has it gotten up? 104 feet. So it keeps going up until, it looks like on the table right here, until for what? 4 seconds, right? At 4 seconds, it gets to 224, and then it starts going down. Where do you think it hits the earth again? Between what two numbers does it hit the earth? 7 and 8. So somewhere in here, somewhere in this vicinity, it's going to go back to the ground. Now this actually is not the maximum height. There is a clue whenever you're working with parabolas of whether you actually can see the maximum height on the graphing calculator. All right? Either, if this was the maximum height, either these numbers on either side of it would have to be the exact same number. So either this would have to be 200 on both sides of it where it's perfectly symmetrical. All right? So you see how it's not balanced on either side? Most parabolas, you can see things are perfectly balanced. Okay? This one is not. So this is not the maximum height, but would you agree we're getting up really, really, really high? How high does our graphing calculator, if I hit graph, what's my height right here? 10. So I can't see it, can I? So here's what I want us to do on our paper. Okay? Right here, on the paper, what I want you to do is I want you to look at our little drawing. Okay? I want you to label this 0. And this, we're going to label it 8. We're going to go from 0 to 8 as far as our time. 0 to 8. Okay? And for our height, I want you to go from 0 all the way up. We're going to label this 250. We're going to go way up to 250. I don't know how many people already know how to do this. This is my first year teaching you guys, so I don't know if you know this already. Okay, some of you do, some of you don't. All right? But we're going to change our window settings. So I want you guys to write down certain things, how to change window settings in your journal. Okay? Right now, you can write it on your paper. We're going to have what's called an x minimum, so write that down. We're going to write down what's called an x maximum. We're going to write down what's called an x scale. So we're going to deal with x minimum, x maximum, x scale. We're also going to deal with the y minimum value, the y maximum value, and the y scale. We're going to set our window settings for that. Our x minimum, I'd like you to write 0. Our x maximum, I'd like you to write 8. And x scale, we're just going to keep it at 1, which means every single tick mark that you see on our graph in time, every tick mark represents 1 second. Okay? Our y minimum, we're going to start at 0. Y maximum, we're going to go all the way up to 250, which represents how high we want the screen to look on our calculator screen. But the x scale, I'm not going to leave it at 1, because that would be a lot of tick marks from 0. Imagine me doing 250 tick marks all the way up. Okay? So why don't you just put 10? Like every tick mark represents 10 feet going up. Okay? Now, on the calculator, okay, let's scroll over here real quick. All right, on the calculator, what I want you to do, where it has the window button, hit the window button on your calculator. Where it says x minimum, type in 0. Where it says x maximum, type in 8. Keep the x scale at 1. Y minimum 0. Y maximum, jump it up to 250. And for the y scale, type in 10. Once you get everything typed in, I'll leave it up there. Take a screenshot. There's a screenshot of our window settings. Okay? Once you do that, hit the graph button. All right, now, what do you have? Now you have the whole graph on your screen. Does everybody see that? Okay. Now, what does this point right here that I'm putting up on the screen, what do you think that point represents? That's our max. We need to find what the x value and what the y value is for that. So I'm going to show you in the calculator. Once you see a graph, the calculator will calculate that for you. Okay? And I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Okay? Here's the instructions. I want you to hit the second button on your calculator and hit the trace button on your calculator, and that will take you to what's known as the calculate screen. Okay? So I will do it right here. I'm going to hit second, trace, and once again it brings you to the calculate screen. What are we going to try to calculate in this particular case? The maximum. We're looking for the maximum. So hit number 4. All right? Now other than hitting that, don't do anything else. All right. So right now your cursor, it's not on the left side. So what I want you guys to do with the calculator is move the cursor with your left arrow. So move your cursor left of what you think the maximum is. All right? You guys see how this is slightly to the left of where that maximum would probably be? All right? Once you are to the left of the maximum, press Enter. And you'll see a line. If you have a colored graphic calculator, the CE version, you'll see a line. If you don't have a colored calculator, you probably will still see this little triangle, this little arrow. Okay? Now what does it say? It says right boundary. Yep. So move your cursor to the right of the maximum. Okay? Make sure it has to be to the right of the maximum. So make sure you've gone far enough. See how I've kind of slightly gone downhill right there, down the parabola? So once you're to the right, press Enter again. And what's happened here is now you've established a left boundary and you've established a right boundary. Everybody should see at least those arrows right there. Okay? And our maximum somewhere in the middle. Finally, press Enter one more time. And what comes up on the screen is not error, hopefully. You didn't establish the left boundary and right boundary. Okay? So right here is our maximum. What is our x value? 3.75. And what is our y value? 225. What does the 3.75 represent? That's the amount of seconds it took to get the maximum height in feet. That's the amount of seconds it took to get the maximum height in feet. Okay? That's a tool that the calculator can do. Now we're going to do it by hand without the calculator next.